journey with Breez SDK has been really, really good. We have been able to deliver Lightning to low, spec phones, these feature phones that, you cannot sort of imagine that happening with any other service. It's just not hype. We're actually creating genuine use cases that could help people in these emerging markets to get some financial access and be part of the global financial system that Bitcoin has created for every one of us.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Shoot the Breez, building in Bitcoin, where we speak to the builders building the future of money. Today, we're speaking with Shishir. He's the MD of Sorted, and he's here to talk to us about their journey bringing Bitcoin to 1 billion devices around the world. Tell us, what is Sorted, and why should people know all about you?
So Sorted is a non-custodial wallet that works on feature phones. I got some props I'll show you. So feature phones like these, these are low resource devices that, most of us sort of thought that they sort of, went extinct 20 years back. But, still about, half a million, 500 million or half a billion people, you still about use them across emerging markets, especially Africa, India, Pakistan, these people sort of live on these kinds of phones. About more than 50% of Africa sort of still use these kinds of phones. And what we have done at Sorted is, built a crypto wallet for these kinds of users where, every other app, every other, crypto giant sort of has been neglecting this market. We sort of realized the potential that these markets could have. And, we've built a product that is useful for remittances, useful for actual real utility. It's just not hype. You're actually creating genuine use cases that could help people in these emerging markets to get some financial access and be part of the global financial system that Bitcoin has created for every one of us.
I mean, fantastic. And so how did you end up at Sorted?
It's a very funny story, So I was working with our CEO Stephen in another project, and he is sort of a tech freak, a tech enthusiast. Keeps like to learning about new things. And it was sort of his curiosity where he found that, these phones still exist. And, we lived in Hong Kong, and you don't really think that these phones would be there or, people would be using there. But somehow, he got access to these kinds of phones in Hong Kong. And he was like, out of curiosity, let's just buy one of these phones. Let's check out, what these phones do actually. And these phones actually have an app store. They have more than 1,200, 1,400 apps. Most of your top, YouTube, Google, these kinds of apps were there, but no crypto app. Being from the crypto industry, he genuinely just, typed any crypto app there, no crypto app. And that was sort of the light bulb moment. We saw a clear gap in the market where everyone was targeting the masses of Europe, of the West, of the US. People really didn't care about what devices people actually use in Africa, in India. I come from India. I've seen, my drivers, auto rickshaw drivers, anyone you see that sort of is not really privileged, they use these kinds of phones on a daily basis. That's their way of living. And that was sort of the light bulb moment we had where we went like, why don't we go ahead and create a wallet for these kinds of phones that work these devices. And it's been a few years now that we have gone through that development journey. We started really small. We created a very MVP kind of a app to begin with, and the first day we published the app, to our surprise, we like got like a few thousand downloads, and we were like, really? It's like, we didn't really expect anything. That at that time it was not really even a real project, if I would say that. It sort of just happened that we got a few thousand downloads, and that's where we sort of started ticking that, okay, this is something, let's start building, let's start taking this a lot more seriously. We and then, sort of we went on that journey. We kept adding features. We sort of started building a team around it, and now we are here 2 years later. We are now backed by Tether, one of the biggest companies in the crypto industry, and we have been able to really get a lot of good users. We now have more than 250K downloads. So, the traction that we have seen over the last 2 years has been immensely grateful. And like right now, that sort of light bulb moment that happened 2 years ago, it just seems like, it was supposed to happen that way. So, very, very happy to be here now where we stand at Sorted.
I think the thing that naturally then leads us to why we're chatting is how did you guys, was Bitcoin always at the front of what you guys were building? How did that journey happen?
Certainly. I mean, we were very clear that this wallet is not something that, people will speculate on. It's not something that people can trade, meme coins or shit coins on. It was always supposed to be of actual utility. And when you talk about utility in crypto, the first thing that comes to mind is Bitcoin. It's neutral, it's borderless money that runs 24/7. It's not controlled by anyone. So that was the first obvious thing that we, wanted to deliver to our users, that we are actually creating utility for them. It was not going to be any kind of, memes or shitcoins or anything like that. So that's how we started it by, creating it, giving them access to Bitcoin and USDT, just stable coins. And then while we were on that journey, we sort of realized that, uh, it's sort of that saying, right? That Bitcoin is what you store, but then Lightning is where you sort of spend your money, right? Spend your Bitcoin, right? So that's sort of that journey that we sort of went through. We got a lot of feedback that, a lot of people in Africa preferred Lightning over the Bitcoin mainnet. And that's when we sort of realized that, this is something people really want in Africa. So we started creating more use cases for Bitcoin, for USDT, and as we were doing that, we obviously had to enable Lightning, right? And that's when we sort of figured out, where do we go, and we found you guys, luckily. So
So let's talk about using the SDK then. So you obviously use a different operating system. There's restrictions with what you can and can't do with a feature phone. You don't have the power, you don't have the memory. What's the experience been like for your developers?
it has been great, like extremely great. Like we when we started this discussion internally about, bringing on Lightning for our users, of course we had questions like, who will run the node? Will it be us? Will it be the users? We didn't really want it to run the nodes. It was not, quite sensible for us, given the type of target market that we have, and then given the type of devices we sort of run on, it was basically impossible for our users to be running the nodes. So that's where we sort of thought about Lightning, and we sort of started discussing within our professional network, and a few guys that we were close with sort of recommended us to you guys. And that's when we started reading it. We started getting in touch with you guys. Our developers then found that, it was extremely easy to sort of integrate your SDK into our app. Like, it didn't really take us a long time. We did sort of, given the type of devices we are on, we did sort of, get into a bit of an obstacle here and there. But that's when your support team really came in, your tech team really came in, because I mean, I still remember, like, we have chats going on all night. I used to wake up and, our tech team and your tech team would just be, exchanging messages all night long, just, going through, helping each other. So it has been extremely, extremely helpful. Like, we have been able to deliver now Bitcoin Lightning to these really, really low, spec phones, these feature phones that really cannot, you cannot sort of imagine that happening with any other service. So like, I'm really happy with how we have sort of been able to get this to the masses. And now that the masses are able to use this, the feedback that we have, it's been just a week since we've gone live on Bitcoin Lightning, but the feedback has been great. Like, I'm seeing so many user videos that they've been sharing to us on social media about, using Bitcoin Lightning. So this the journey with Breez SDK has been really, really good, to be honest.
You mentioned it before, it's about use cases. So, what are the use cases that you're seeing? Obviously, folks have very different financial situations. There are people around the world. So, I'd love to learn more about what are the use cases that you're seeing at Sorted.
Of course. So the first use case, of course, is remittances. We all know that people can lose up to 10%, 12% on, global transfers. First use case we are enabling is remittances, zero fee transfers. We have the ability now, we see in our app on a monthly basis, we have users that receive about $100 or $200, every month, every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks, from probably their family. That's what we sort of assume, right? And we have even actually contacted a few of our users, and they have sort of mentioned it to us that, that has sort of changed their life, because now they get money instantly, they get money a lot cheaper, and it's really life changing for them. And another use case is, we allow our users to use that Bitcoin or use that USDT within the app to pay for actual products that they use in real life. So whether that may be, recharging their mobile, you're paying your electricity bill, or doing anything that requires, let's say, a telephone bill or anything like that, right? They are able to do that within the app with their stables or with their Bitcoin. So I think that has been a really good use case for them, because otherwise in most other apps they have to off ramp it, then they have to go to a shop or a service and then sort of get into what they really needed. Now they can just do it right from their home. And another final use case that sort of sorry is that they now have been able to really get P2P transfers on a daily basis. Now they've been learning about Bitcoin, they've been learning about finance, they've been learning how to save, how to, just basically part of financial world, how to grow their wealth over time. So I think that's one of our key missions, to really educate people about finance, to really help them grow in life as well. It's not just that we want to grow and, we don't really care about users. It's about growing together with them, and I think that's key to our mission. And basically also that's what also Tether has aligned with us as well. So yeah, very excited about what's next.
And that's the, I mean, honestly, that's really because the three things that affect a lot of people around the world anyway, right? And so the fact that you're able to reach folks that others aren't today is pretty astounding. So the other thing I was going to say is anything that surprised you on this journey in 2 years in?
To be honest, I think the first sort of moment of surprise to me was that how many people actually wanted to learn about this kind of stuff. Not everyone that uses our app is aware of Bitcoin or aware of USDT for that matter. But the learning curiosity that they have, it has been really, really interesting to see that, because we have a support channel within our app, and we get questions, almost on a daily basis about, how to do this or how to do that, or what is Bitcoin. Just people trying to actually get to know about crypto. That was really, really, it was a great moment. You don't really expect that when people get to know about new things. And I guess another thing that sort of surprised me when we sort of launched our app was how difficult it was to actually launch a crypto wallet on these kinds of devices. People might think that it's just another app. It really went through a lot of difficulties. I mean, I can't really speak on the exact specifics because I don't know them, to be honest, but our tech developers really have optimized the app to its core, and that's why it's so great that we could partner with someone like Breeze, because I don't see how otherwise you sort of bring Bitcoin Lightning or any other stables to these many people on such a low or such a lightweight app, if I may say that. Our app actually is the most lightweight crypto wallet out there on Google Play Store. It's only about 10 MB, which is by far lighter than any other crypto wallet out there. So it really takes a lot, and credit to our developers for that.
And I think the kind of final thing that we end on is what can people look forward to? What's coming up? What are you excited about?
There are quite a few things coming up, to be honest. I'll not touch upon everything, but one of the key things that we are very excited about is a few of our initiatives in Africa are now going to sort of materialize. We are working with a few, especially in a few specific countries, that we have tried to enable some sort of OTC shop where we are able to work with agents and work with the actual people that deliver cash outside and receive cash from outside. So that's something that we are quite excited about. In terms of just the app, right? We are trying to sort of deepen our cash rails in Africa. Whether that's on ramp or off ramp. We're trying to enable users to be able to get money a lot quicker. Right now people don't really understand how they can do that with these kinds of devices. They really need to wait in bank lines and bank queues for a long time. Now, once they get Bitcoin into the app, it takes another minute and they have local cash right there. They could off ramp into mobile money, into bank or whatever they really want. So I think that's something that we're going live in Tanzania very soon. So that's something we are really excited about. But of course, eventually, the sort of the broader mission is to become the most accessible wallet for everyday money in Africa. And that's what we are really building towards, creating actual, use cases for our users every day. With every feature that we add on, we think about how can we do that, and hopefully, the users sort of see that, and we keep growing.
Shishir, I have no doubt that that's going to be the journey. So I want to say thank you very much for coming on and talking about everything to do with Sorted, and wish you the best of the luck moving forward. So take care, my friend.
Thank you, Danny. Thank you so much. Lovely chatting with you.